Imagine you're standing on a sunny main street in a tiny Midwest town, surrounded by 40 of your neighbors, when a man is gunned down in front of everyone. But when the police arrive, every single person, without exception, says they didn't see a thing.
That sounds like a scene from a Western, or a collective fever dream. People don't just stay silent like that in the 20th century unless they're terrified or in on it.
In Skidmore, Missouri, it was both. Today we're talking about Ken McElroy, the town bully who pushed a community so far that they decided the only way to save the town was to delete him from it. This all takes place in Skidmore, a farming town of about 400 people. It's the kind of place where everyone knows your business, which is exactly why Kenneth Rex McElroy was so effective at ruining it.
So who was this guy? Was he a local mob boss or just a jerk with a bad attitude?
He was a career criminal who essentially treated the county like his personal playground. From the 1950s through the 70s, he racked up charges for arson, burglary, livestock rustling, and even child molestation.
That's a long list. How does one guy do all that in a tiny town without ending up behind bars for life?
That's the most disturbing part. McElroy was functionally illiterate, but he had a predatory genius for manipulating the legal system. He was indicted 21 different times, but he never spent a day in prison because he used a very simple, brutal tactic: witness intimidation.
Let me guess. If you testify against Ken, your barn burns down or your dog disappears?
Precisely. Or he'd just park outside your house with a shotgun in his lap, staring at your front door for hours. He even married his own stepdaughter after getting her pregnant when she was just 14, allegedly to prevent her from testifying against him in a molestation case.
This isn't just a bully. This is a domestic terrorist living next door.
The breaking point came in 1980. McElroy got into a dispute over a piece of candy with 70-year-old Bo Bowenkamp, the town's beloved grocer.
Wait, a piece of candy? A grown man is picking a fight with an elderly grocer over a nickel's worth of sugar?
McElroy didn't take being told no very well. He waited for Bo outside the store and shot the old man in the neck with a shotgun.
Surely that's the end of the story. You can't intimidate your way out of shooting a town elder in broad daylight.
You'd think so. For the first time in his life, McElroy actually got convicted of second-degree assault. The town celebrated, thinking the nightmare was finally over.
But the law has a funny way of working for the people who deserve it least.
Exactly. His high-priced lawyer filed an appeal, and a judge released McElroy on bond. He walked right back into Skidmore, went to the local tavern with an M1 rifle and a bayonet, and told everyone he was going to finish the job on Bo Bowenkamp.
So the system basically handed a loaded gun back to a killer and sent him home?
That was the realization that hit the residents of Skidmore on July 10, 1981. They held a meeting at the Legion Hall to discuss how to protect themselves since the law wouldn't.
Did they decide to call the governor or hire private security?
They didn't have to hire anyone. After the meeting, a crowd of 30 to 46 men walked down to the D&G Tavern where McElroy was sitting in his Silverado pickup truck with his wife, Trenna.
In front of nearly 50 people? In the middle of the day?
Someone opened fire from at least 2 different directions. McElroy was hit by multiple rounds and died instantly in his driver's seat. Trenna was sitting right next to him, but she wasn't hit once.
And let me guess, no one saw the shooters.
The police arrived to find a street full of witnesses who all developed a sudden, very specific case of amnesia. They told the sheriff they were looking at the ground, or they'd turned their heads at the exact moment the shots rang out.
Even with the FBI and the Missouri Attorney General involved, no one cracked?
Not a single person. They even brought in a federal grand jury. The residents basically formed a human wall of silence. They decided that whatever punishment they might face for staying quiet was better than living one more day under Ken McElroy's thumb.
It's easy to cheer for the underdog town, but this is basically the death of the rule of law, right? If the community decides who lives and dies, that's a slippery slope.
That's the debate that still surrounds Skidmore today. It's the ultimate case study in vigilante justice. It asks the question, what is a community supposed to do when the legal system is so broken that it actually protects the predator instead of the prey?
It's like the town didn't commit a murder. They performed an extraction. They removed a cancer because the doctor refused to operate.
And the legacy is heavy. To this day, the case is officially unsolved. No one was ever charged, and the town became famous as the place that got away with it. But for the people who live there, it wasn't about fame. It was about the first night of peaceful sleep they'd had in 20 years.
What's the one thing to remember about Ken McElroy?
He's the man who proved that even the most cunning bully can't survive when an entire community decides they've finally had enough. That's Wikipedia. Every story on demand. Search your next topic at wikipedia.ai.